Okay, welcome to Home Servicing episode 1.1. So we'll be talking about disc brakes in this video because I could not cover that in last video because that was already way too long. So in this video we'll be covering how to maintain disc brake, how to clean, and I will even talk about how you can replace the brake pads when necessary. And yeah, we'll also go to the part where I'll talk about lever lubricating and all, the brake lever. I could not cover that in last part because that video was long enough already. So yes, so this is what, and also if the video is not long enough, I'll talk about the right way to brake. So yeah, let's get started. So in this removal of this thing does not require major setup. We don't have to remove wheel or anything. It's very straightforward. Just these three bolts and this thing will be out. So this is number 10. So this is number 10 bolt and these two are number 12. So you can use any tool to remove these three bolts, and basically this will be out as soon as you remove it. So we'll do that real quick. So I'm using basically a ratchet and extension rod with this number 10 sprocket, and now I'll put it and I'll remove. So let's do that. So this has a, if you can, yeah, so as you can see, this has a bolt and a washer, so make sure you don't miss it. So there are two ways: either you put it back in the same place, or you can, if you don't want to do that, you can just yeah, so either you can put it back in this place or you store it somewhere. Make sure you don't miss any of this because getting these things is not easy. That's why, as a most. Yep. So now we'll replace, and now we'll use number 12 to open these two. It's just a little bit hard. So as you can see on this, it's actually something good that this means this is basically it has got parts of old grease, so that means that your service people had put grease on it, which is a good thing. But since it has not been opened after that, that means the grease is basically dead, so you have to clean that and replace it. If you don't do that, these nuts will make sound while opening, and also it's not good for your nuts, so it's better to remove the old one and replace it. Now I'll do the same with the other one. And here's the second nut bolt, and now we are going to remove this. Yep, so as you can see, it has this is how the whole unit has come out, and this is how it is looking. So to open this, now we need to remove this part. So it has got two pins. You have to remove these pins basically locks this rod right here. So we have to remove these two pins and pull this rod out. So you can use a nose plier, either a nose plier to remove it, or you can try removing it with a screwdriver. And screwdriver is not recommended because that's not that safe. But with nose plier you can easily remove it if it is in the right angle. In this case, it's not exactly. It should have been a little bit outside so that I could pull it out with a nose plier. So there is one pin, and here is another one. So we'll remove these two now. Okay, so now I'll be removing it with the help of screwdriver. So you just put the screw, this flathead screwdriver on that circle and pull it outside so it comes off halfway, and make sure you don't break it, and I just feel that I might break it. Yep, so there's one, and now there's another one. So that is little bit tricky. I think it will come out from the lower side, so I can't capture that, but so here's the second pin. So we got both the pins out. Now this should come off easily, so I'll just tap a bit, or I'll push it from this side. So since it has not been taken out before, it's covered with all the dust, and that's why it's not easy to remove it. Yep, we got it. So here's the pin, here's a rod basically which was holding, and yeah, so now these two brake shoes are easy to remove. The first one should come off right away like that, so you should just shake it a bit and it will come out, and the other one is here, so you should open it like this and pull it from the other side. So here's the second one. So as you can see, the whole thing is covered in dust, which is very obvious, it's all brake dust. And so we'll start inspection once we are done cleaning cleaning the whole unit. So to clean it, basically I've put a stool out here, and I'll put a bowl and I'll clean it with the help of soap solution. So yeah, as you know already, so whatever solution you use, be it diesel, petrol or water, make sure it just dries well, because these parts are not good. This is like probably the second time I'm telling that. So I'll get the setup and we'll start cleaning. Yep, so now we have got the bowl, and this is the unit, and I have made a solution by mixing surf and water. So it's basically, and I've stored it in here. So I'll be putting that on it, and I'll rub it with the help of toothbrush, and once whole thing is clean, nice and clean, we'll just dry it up. So I'll mix the soap solution. Yeah, so I'll start rubbing it right away. Now the second part of cleaning is this disc. So this disc has got these cuts and this petals. So these are not just for cooling, the internal ones are they act as a cooling aid for cooling the brake pads and also the disc, and also to collect the dust. So we have to make sure that this disc is cleaned. So again, I'm going to use the same liquid soap, and I'll use this brush. So I'll dip the brush in it, and I'll be cleaning each and every hole with this. And along with this disc, I will also clean these holes which had old grease. So I'll be replacing the grease, and the bolt goes easily next time, and so that it will be able to open every time you do that. So if you keep removing old one and replacing the grease, basically it will be easy for you to remove the nut and stuff. Now I'll just clean it with normal water. Now I allow it to dry on its own, and then I'll clean it with the help of cloth. So I'll clean all these and make sure that it's completely dry before assembly. And then once it is dry, we'll do the inspection, and then it will be finally done. So yeah, next part is this brake pads. So you can see again, even these have a shiny layer, so we just have to remove that with the help of sandpaper, and we should make sure that there's no brake dust collected in these grooves. So we'll do the same with both the thing, and make sure you don't use water, because water is not good on this. Just clean it with brush and sandpaper. That should be enough for now. So once I'm done with cleaning that, we'll proceed with the other steps. So this is the difference between cleaned and non-cleaned. So this one is not cleaned, and this is, I just sanded a little bit layer off, so you can see it's now you can't see the dust as much as it is there in this, and I removed all the dust from the grooves. And talking about indication of when the brake pad is ending, it is basically if you see this groove. So when the brake material has reached below this groove point, that's when you know that brake has worn out completely. So these grooves are basically they also work as an indicator. Okay, yeah, so you should make sure that you just remove the black layer and not much. So I'll just sand it a bit, and this is done so that your brake pads slide easily, and this is very important. Don't scratch it too much, because if you end up scratching, you'll have to replace the whole thing. Yep. So I think this much is enough for now. So there goes this part. Now this is the part where you would not wanna open, because this has grease, and it has silicone grease, which is very rare it is very costly to find basically. And you should only access this area only when you are having troubles with the disc brake. So basically they lubricate this place with the silicone grease and they put it back. And yeah, so basically there'll be another video about that as whole. I won't talk about it much now. And now you can start the assembly process. So I don't have to do anything more now. My all the pads are clean and this is also dried well, so I'll just start lubricating things and I will assemble it back. So I'll take up little grease. So I'll take a little bit grease and I'll apply it on these areas. It should be very little again. Now first we'll be taking up this brake pad, and as you can see there's a cut over here, so we'll make sure that this cut sits right over there. So it'll go like this and it'll fit. So as you can see it has reached its cut, and we'll keep it to one side. And now for the second one, so it's basically just reverse of how we had taken it, how we had put it back. So now take this, put it here and put it like this. So now there is no gap, but that's not a problem. Now make sure you apply a little bit of grease on this rod, so I'll do that. So I have applied a very little amount of grease on this, and now we have to put it through this hole. So one hole, make sure you pass it through every hole. So now we should put back these locking pin. So there I'll put the first one. So there goes the first one, and second one. And here's the second one. So second one will go right through this. Yeah, like so. So now it's ready. So just make some gap over here. Yeah, so make some gap between the pads and start applying. So put it like this, and now you can start putting the bolts. So here's a bolt, and I'll put little grease on its surface. also apply a little grease on this. So here goes one nut, and I'll apply it on the other one as well. So if it is lubricated properly, you will be able to open it every time effortlessly. That's the whole point. So now we have to make sure the holes are aligned, and then you can just tighten it with the hand. Now that you have lubricated and cleaned it properly, it should be easy for you. And the very first nut you can put is this bolt. This will help ease in the process. Yeah, so you make sure that you push the brake from other side and then tighten it with the help of hand. So once it is fully tightened from hand, swap. Now you can use a wrench. So this is number 12. I'll be tightening it. Air show jets, and they are making a lot of noise. But it's okay. It's fine. It's sort of throttle. See, all these are tightened, and the part of all this brake maintenance is done. Just to check if everything is fine, lift your front wheel and make sure, just check if it is spinning smoothly or not. So as you can see, it's very free. That means, yeah, we have done it successfully. Pat your back.